Hey guys, and we are back. Also brought snacks for kimchi. Now, I honestly don't expect this to solve the issue. So I've restarted the PC. I'm holding the snack inside. In my palm. Aw, she likes it. Kimchi. Okay, so I don't, as I said before, I don't honestly expect the issue to be solved, but we tried multiple approaches. So I checked the cable, I restarted the router, checked the routers for updates, done Windows updates. I don't think this will help, but it might. Another one, kimchi. Yeah, the cats came with my crazy cat lady girlfriend. She, when I started dating her, she already had the 2 cats. So the cats are now living with me for 3 years. Both very adorable. This is kimchi, right? Let's show her. She'll get more snacks, don't worry. Well, I don't think she's displeased with the outcome right now, right? But we must not forget about Mochi. Especially Mochi has been not feeling quite as well over the last days. He's been eating slightly less and being slightly playing less. I think he got a cold or something, but he's doing well now. So Mochi deserves snacks as well, right? He's a bit of a crocodile, so feeding him is dangerous. He never bites unless he's trying to be bad. He's like, it's feeding Mochi is a dangerous sport. Alright, now they can go into chicken mode, which means we're gonna just give them some more food. And then find the keepers. Usually Mochi gets a little bit more. That's actually totally fine, because Mochi is a little bit better when it comes to his weight.
A relic from long ago.
Right, I'm gonna dump all of that. Now I'm very hopeful that the legs are gone. I did not feel them so far, but I've been observing them quite a bit, but we'll see. Let's run a random map. You guys are very much welcome. Let me enjoy the cats. Alright, we're just gonna run this map, run a breach, see how the filter behaves. We're gonna run things on strict here. And if things are working out, we'll start working on the final part of the filter, and that is leveling. And there's a few potential crafting bases there. Some things are hidden. I don't think we... So, Here's me knocking on wood and hoping not to jinx it. I think the legs are gone, guys. I don't think I've felt the legs ever since. Please don't return. I honestly don't know what it was. If they're gone. It could have been the router restart, it could have been the Windows update, it could have been me checking the network cable, it could have been all the options we've changed before. But, we seem to be fine, right? These spikes are gone.
From fate.
Remind us of this update. I don't know, no, it definitely wasn't the map layout, because we definitely made the downgrade in terms of map layout. This is the worst map layout ever, and if anything, this map layout should be lagging a lot. Because it's so terrible. No, I had this problem for like 3 or 4 days. I've been trying all kinds of map layouts. Alright, let's see what we found. So there's the Riku shot. We're playing on strict, so we still see that. If we go one up, we no longer see it, right? So strict shows the Riku shot, very strict doesn't. Strict still shows the support gems and stuff, and we still see some crafting bases here. There's the precursor stuff. Alright, now let's go 1 strictness up. Yeah, I suppose. And 2 strictness up. Okay.
A gift from fate.
No, yeah, very happy about fixing the legs. It's been so annoying. Okay, I think this is fine. I feel like catalysts need to be shown. What do you think? It kind of depends on the type of the catalyst. We have actually found the better catalysts, and I think the worst catalysts are disabled, at least in higher strictnesses, because catalysts are actually not very expensive. They're pretty cheap right now. They're some of the worst drops. The newer one is just slightly better tiered. So on Uber Strict, you no longer see them. You still see them on very strict, which is, I think, okay. Alright, let's finish the map and continue working with the leveling part, because I feel like this part is pretty solid already. What strictness have you on? Direct strict? Okay, on strict we still fight quite a bit of random drops. Now please Wecke there. Schön, wie sie meine Arbeit Spaß macht. Wecke there. Alright, we got the Waystone upgrade, the steel plate looks alright. We're still fighting a lot of stuff. I'm not even sure what are we fighting there. Advanced Omen. What kind of strict is that? That's strict, right? Advanced Omen Quest. Right, some oak level thing. If it's oak leveled, it's getting hidden. I think this is perfectly fine. You can see the catalyst actually, this rare is actually worse. You can see this background is weaker than normal rares. So the background tells a lot about the rare. Such a terrible layer. Alright. Once again, some drops. The quiver is hidden. That's a very low quiver, right? Might be still worth showing it. Maybe quiver should be tiered slightly higher. Kinda hard to say here.
It's about time.
Are we able to see only T2 Excel bases or higher? No. Unfortunately, the tiering command doesn't exist yet. Once it's there, we'll be able to add this into the game, but right now there's no way to do that. it's not the end of the world because you'll be seeing the better bases. I think it's actually more important to see the better bases than the higher tier bases in most cases. So pretty much in the cases where only the tier is pretty much matters, in those cases you will see the items anyway. Like in the case of rings and amulets, you will see the items anyway unless on like super high strictness. But yeah, when it comes to the base quality, if you find, let's say, an advanced base and it is, I mean, I see the point that you make because sometimes you just don't want to see any rares unless they have a tier, and I wish we could design that, but right now it's not possible. We definitely need the tier command. Okay, let's what? There's notify. What? All right, so things seem pretty good. I think we've done enough test runs. We can proceed to the next topic. That's a lot of changes beyond. Second. Well, filter for PoE2 will be fully open source after it's released. My filter will be open source. Filter blade itself will not be open source. There's just, so here's kind of the evaluation I'm doing. So you can get my filter, you can modify it, you can make any filter of it, you can also use any sort of versions and colors and share stuff, but the website filter blade will not be open source. I think it's pretty uncommon to make websites open source. Basically, you're kind of ending up in this sort of a shitty position. So the moment you open source a website, you are instantly creating multiple issues. One, anyone can try to copy your website. The best case scenario will be that the copied website will just try to be better than yours. The worst case scenario is the copied website will try to do phishing attempts. The source code will be used in order to abuse security or safety features, or in order to do malicious stuff. There's like very, very little benefit. The chances that that is basically it. I'm not interested in any of these outcomes. Even the best case scenario is something, why would I want that? I'm trying to be a good, ethical community person who is really enjoying being part of this community and really enjoying to provide high quality software and solutions to players. But open sourcing the website feels like a Pandora box, and the Pandora box is loaded with explosives that will instantly explode when I open it. It's just, I feel like it would be stupid for me to open this box. So yeah, pretty much the only condition under which I would open source Filterblade is basically if I would abandon PoE completely. So if I would feel like, okay, PoE is a bad game, I'm not enjoying it anymore, I don't want to support this, then I would consider open sourcing Filterblade. But yeah, Filterblade is free and remains being free, so that's pretty much it. But hey, we fixed the lag issue. The filter is working. The drops it's showing seem to be fine to me. We might want to consider desaturating them a slight bit there, I think. Just a teeny tiny bit. I feel like they're a little bit too saturated. Where are the crafting bases? Crafting regular, normal, decorators. This one, right? Regular base. Yeah, I don't think this should be this thing. I think in vice versa we should go for a lower situation, not a higher one. We try going for that. Yeah, the saturate seems to be the name of the game right now. Alright, this is better. So we see these bases are still quite visible, but they're not quite as strongly highlighted anymore. We might even reduce it a tiny bit more. I think they don't need quite as much highlight there. Let's try 210. Opacity is something very awkward in theory, by the way. To handle? I don't think it works, right? It doesn't seem like it's working to me. They're still way too opaque. Okay, let's try something. Let's see if this works. This will make them transparent, the background. Okay, clearly it doesn't work. So why not? Is it this? Is it getting this decorator? No, there's nothing to get there. Mark, salvage, classes, equip. Why is that not applying? What level is that? 78. Wait, it's a border color, never mind. This is why it didn't work. Let's try that combo. Okay, yeah, that instantly is a bit too much, I think. So let us add a tiny bit more. Let's do 20. I think it's a bit better. It should definitely be less remarkable than the other drops, but still easy enough to spot. I think that's fine. What's the difference between those two in terms of crafting bases? Not much, right? Let's take a look at the progression in terms of the crafting bases. Yeah, this is why it's such a big jump, because we hide 2 tiers there. But I'm honestly not sure what if this is the right approach or not. I mean, we can hide one of them and see how this goes. That just means both this will highlight a lot more, which I'm not sure I like. Well, maybe we'll leave it at that for now. So it leaves you at least some crafting bases, but just a minimal amount. What about the normal base of these jewelry stuff? So before we'll still show these two. D4, D4, D3. I'm not even sure if this is correct. Maybe it still should be D5, D4, D3. And then we have belts, ideal level. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with a D5 there. Kind of make this much more visible in general. And here we can go for a lower tier highlight. D4, D3, D2. Lex gone? Yep. I'm not sure what exactly fixed it. I did Windows updates, I restarted the PC, I restarted both routers, I tried updating them. Something helped. I tried changing the power settings, the graphic setting on the PoE. I deleted the client, I disconnected the controller, disabled the vibration thing on the controller, and now it's fine. I'm not sure what was going on there, but now it's fine. Now it's really smooth. Now with occasional like tiny frame spike, whatever is going on there, but it's not a large one, right? It's between 11 and 12. Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. But yeah, I have no idea what was going on there. So the strictness seems fair. Let's review the strictness on the endgame things. D6, D5, D4. Let's maybe even go. Yeah, I'm not sure. D6, D5, D4 seems fair to me. D5, D4, D4 as well. we might need to expand this system with one more copy. I haven't actually thought through that. We don't have a highest tier rings, the highest tier belt section. Ah, shit. Zoe is gonna hate me, but in this case, it's okay. D65, D4, D60, 64. Why is it still complaining about these? Hit 0 level. I mean, I think it kind of makes sense because we might not be adding anything there really, so it does have a reason to complain, I think. Yes, yeah. Welcome, how are you? Runes, waystones, and rare armor rings. Things looking great? Yeah, let's hope so. I'm very anxious about this whole thing. Also, my tiredness is kind of starting to peak because this whole thing, I don't think I can keep it up for a lot more days. Kind of the double work and the filter blade work time all the time. But I hope we'll have everything done this Saturday. Maybe Sunday. Let's see how it goes. Let me ping Zoe again. The filter version edit 6 more rules to amulets, rings, belts for rares. PTM and returned 6 decorators for waystones. I believe unless something important comes up, everything outside of maps, everything in maps is now finished. We'll be working on leveling tools now. Oh yeah, Zoe is doing a lot of great work. Past days, you see pretty much this sign. It's basically her building up everything there. The whole option file stuff is being built up by her. There's a ton of work done by her. You can basically take a look there, starting with the third. This is pretty much, wait, is that the file? I think it's the wrong file. This one. This is basically the option file that defines how filter blade is working. Oh no, yeah, you know, writing filter blade in a modern JavaScript framework would have been a good idea, but no, not at all. It is pure vanilla JavaScript. I think there's some jQuery sprayed in here and there, but it's mostly vanilla JavaScript. It also uses a custom domain language by me to basically generate a whole customizer overview loot simulator. But we do our own state handling, asynchronization, all of this stuff. At this point, it works. Back then, we didn't know better. I mean, the whole project is like 8 years old. I've been a junior developer back then, but looking from today's perspective, it's insane. We kind of got used to that. I mean, I think what keeps the whole thing pretty clean once again are domain languages. So, for instance, filter blade itself, so the structure of the structure of the customizer, the structure of the overview screen is actually written in another little domain language. And this one is just getting all of these things to work pretty well. Let me show you that. So this is the POE1 option file. This file is basically defining exactly how the filter blade structure is done. Every single kind of like the, you know, accordion, scope, whatever else is defined here. And all of the searches, all of the queries, all of the modifications, all of the things you can change, tier lists, all of the stuff is defined here. Yep, filters can't see tiers, is very unfortunate. Alright, before we start working on the leveling section, first of all, let me just commit everything else.
Glorious.
Finish non-leveling section. Why GG is aware of the issue? That's the intent, no? No, okay, so you know what? Specifically when it comes to the tier thing, I think it's a communication issue. I see no world. So I know GEG quite well by now, right? I've been talking to them many times, and I'm actively talking to them pretty much every month for one reason or another. One second. Second, you can also split rings, belts, amulets, and a red of gear. I didn't intend them to be the same BTM. And so we have one for jewelry and one for gear. But they no longer have the PoE1 issue of having split crafting rare bases. So we need 2 BTM in totals right now, plus maybe 1 for leveling. Super Falcon, thank you so much for the Prime sub, much appreciated. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, so I've been talking a lot to GEG on all kinds of topics, right? I don't want to tell that I know them very well, but I usually can distinguish the difference between this is something we didn't get to, and this is something we don't want to do. So the whole tier thing, I guarantee you, I'm pretty sure this is something we didn't get to problem. It might have been also a stubborn problem of we don't need it because you show any rare anyway. But I think they will change it. I don't see any other way there. So there's like some things where I'm pretty sure they will not change it. For instance, I'm pretty sure it is intentional. They don't want us to allow to filter by contract type in the heist in PoE1. I'm pretty sure they don't want that. And I can also understand why. There are certain things I understand why they don't want them. It's the same reason I'm pretty sure they don't want us to be able to like distinguish all kind of uniques in PoE1. Maybe it's also kind of just grown historically and maybe I'm interpreting things. But I'm pretty sure the tier thing is just something they didn't get to yet. I'm pretty sure they could add a new command for Waystone tier simply because it's exactly the same thing as map tier. I think they just kind of Ctrl F it or something and found those commands. But the tiers for rares are just kind of like a new mechanic and they didn't implement it yet. Oh yeah, unique headhunt and worms mode. I think that's actually something they want. It's limitation of the old code. No, I think, well, it might be a limitation. It absolutely might be a limitation, but I think this is one they will solve. So there are certain issues like, consoles having no filters or us not being able to filter by tier, where I'm 99% certain it's just a question of time. GG didn't seem to touch the filter code at all. Yes, that's also my suspicion. So I think their initial intent was, and this is my understanding from my conversations with several GGG members. Some of them pretty high ranking. So I've been basically talking to every game director at this point. On their end, and I guarantee, I think the vision there was that they thought loot filters would not be necessary in the end game. This was kind of their limitation, and they might actually try to still force this limitation in the upcoming updates by reducing drop rates and so forth. But honestly, what I think will happen is, so I think Breach is going to get nerfed. I think there will be something like a new leak, a leak reset, something like that, and Breach is going to just, not just get nerfed, it's going to get stomped. You know, the GGG type of nerf. You know how GG nerfs builds. Do you remember double dipping builds in PoE 1? Do you remember energy shield builds in 3.0? Do you remember the tornado shot nerf? So if you know this, maybe for I think for PoE 2 players, they're not quite aware how GG nerfs things. They're basically nerfing it like not one time. So you know, like a normal nerf is like 30% damage reduction, 40% damage reduction. They will nerf the same thing like 5 times at the same time. Not from one vector, but like from multiple vectors. So I expect them to nerf Rarity, Breach, like 5 different builds, stat stacking, mana, energy shield. And I think what they'll do is they will not nerf it now. I think they will nerf it with the new kind of mini leak. So what I expect is, I expect pretty much mostly radio silence until like 2 or 3 days. Then they'll put out something like a trailer. And then they'll be like, hey, here's Druid and here's Huntress. They're coming both soon. And oh, by the way, we are also killing like Breach, Rarity, Energy Shield, Mana, nerfing down a couple of uniques, making Everlasting Gaze @1 unique, so it's like a 90 Divine unique at this point. This is what I'm basically expecting. This is what I think will happen. How do you get into DevOps and what languages do you mostly use for professional work? A lot of Python, mostly C#.NET and a lot of YAML scripts. I actually barely do any sort of Python. Right, you know what I need? I need a short break. And maybe I'll actually order takeout in a sec. And then I'll proceed working. And then we'll start working on the leveling filters. Be back soon. Alright, I'm back, and in between, in the break, I definitely did not discover that I had like a critical mistake in every single tier list going on. Not critical, but you know. And I think I'm giving Zoe continuous nightmares when it comes to the initial filter implementation. So to explain what I did, it's not actually huge. In game, you wouldn't see it at all, but it was creating a lot of issues in filter blade. So the way I edit the filter is I've written the software where I can do this sort of tiering, retiering of the whole basis. So I can pretty much tell, okay, this ring is tier 1, this ring is tier 2, this base is tier 4, and so forth. And then they kind of all get added into one big tier list. And then I slice this tier list apart in the necessary parts. So I get kind of this is the ring slice, this is the belt slice, this is the amulet slice, this is everything else slice. Literally, that's kind of how it works. Actually, it's 3 slices. It's like like amulets and rings is 1 slice, and if you have belts, then everything else. This is kind of like the grouping I'm using here. And accidentally, in the actual filter, in the part where I should have been using everything else, I used the full slice, which actually resulted in a lot of issues. You don't see it in game, but yeah, this has been replaced. So here in the spots where the base type should have been derived rares. No, wait. Did I do something wrong? No. Oh, fine. Derived, general, unbiased, equipped T3. Instead, I had everywhere the full tier list. Actually, let's check if I'm using it anywhere else, because I actually just checked it. Anyway, good thing this got spotted. Now, before we start with the leveling part, I do want to get rid of these errors. Well, those were kind of doubled up. Possible that what? Is it possible that all armors are gone now? If I never use this, so maybe? Give me a sec. Alright, maybe I accidentally deleted all of the armors. Why would they be gone so? Yeah, we need to review that. Am I using 1 or 2? I think I would still using 2E1 here. You might need to switch. Yes. Yeah, this is PoE1 mode. We need to switch to PoE2 mode. Alright, so let's take a look at the unbiased equipment. So, how are they gone? Oh no, it's derived, it's fine. So they're here, they're just not there in the derived one. But they're still gone in the derived one. Why are they gone here? All non-jewelry gear. All weapons, all armors. What does all armors do? class, all armor types. Maybe we need to... Oh.
Glorious.
This doesn't seem to change. Crap, how do I fix that? Maybe if you use both. JB and SBT, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm sorry, right now I'm a little bit in the zone trying to figure out what's going on there. Why not? Okay, is this part of the list there? Okay, so it just doesn't copy that. Why is the copying not working? Oh. What if we put a breakpoint here? But yeah, this is C#.net. Let's click this. So the key is T1, right? Then we get a list of different bases. And there's some boots and so forth. And then we get this target basis where is a base type valid for this thing. Included classes are 21 different classes. And we can just wait for a specific class there, right? Get class of item. Okay. Okay, so this is valid. So we are adding the range there. Base types and location of this. It seems fine to me. Okay, let's once again try that. So it does work. All right. It seems fine. This seems totally fine. Where's my basis? Oh, okay, it works. I think I just didn't update the file. Okay, now it's working. Fine, 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 fine. I think I fixed it like 3 minutes ago and didn't see that. Right, let us then rebuild the filter. Ipan, you're welcome. I'm going crazy with the filter, but we are making some progress. After figuring, you know, this is what kind of gives me so much anxiety, because these are the issues we found. The question is, how many did we not find? Mods are back. You're right. But yeah, I'm also back. Let's quickly see the... Yeah, this all everything we see right now is kind of big work in progress, so don't be scared. The coloration is terrible. We need to get the orange one. Also, can you change the4 to be... You know what? I can change it myself. To be the orange color. It looked way better. This needs to be still kind of like packed into different sections. This is still work for like tomorrow and stuff. How do we visualize all of these things? These are every single time the bases are used. Now the good news are these bases are pretty much only used in one single base set matrix. So they're shared across all of the filter when it comes to crafting and rare, and it's working really well. The problem, however, is you see how many different rules there are. It's gonna be really annoying to edit. Or we can at least move the rings and amulets there already. Can we break the rules into subcategories? We will. So there will be crafting bases, there will be rares. This is just a naming convention thing. I think we'll get there. Many other rules are much more simple. Like, runes are significantly simpler than... Oh, jewels are also there. Well, I'll do a big sweep over Filter Blade over the next days. That's fine. Okay. Kannst du mir Chopsticks bringen, bitte? I ordered a bowl, so I got myself some chicken, rice, corn bowl from a local shop.
Kannst du den Rest von der Soße später essen?
Ja, kann ich machen.
Ja?
Ja, will ich morgen so. Mach ich, die war lecker. Danke. Okay, so. Current state. Everything is done. It is not leveling related. Not on filter blade, but on the filter. But before we start with the leveling part, we need to adjust these, right?
Glorious.
I would like for these to not show up everywhere and look annoyed. Okay, so I have crafting decorators normal 80. No style matches for. Why is it actually complaining about that? It's complaining that this is never used, right? But this is not true. They are being used. Okay, not here. What are you talking about here? Is this the body part? Oh, yeah, okay.
Glorious.
And normal 82 as well. So those are both unmatched, and that's why it's complaining, right?
Glorious.
Claude, Vincent Vega, Alison, thank you all for the sub. It's super nice of you. Thank you guys. Thank you for the sub train. So why do we have this complaint there? No matching styles for it. So, okay, with the 80 I kinda get it.
Oh, a glorious spectacle.
Bunny, thank you so much for the sub giveaway as well. Thank you for the 20 subs. Guys, thank you all so much. Bunny, thank you for the consistent sponsoring of the channel. You guys are amazing. Thank you once again. Normal 80. There's something weird here. Alright, we can see normal 82 is actually getting a style. This is a style declaration. But for some reason, we see it complains about both of them. Now, I kind of get it if it complains about this. This makes sense, right? There's no style here. But why does it complain about a marked top level base? Where exactly do we create those? Maybe it just checks for the universal styles. I mean, we see that this is doing something. Now, this is part of the code, is something I've not worked on since ages, but it works. It creates something, right? Why is it asking for two so? Oh, because I know why. I use a global style. Okay, I know what's going on. It's actually very interesting. So in PoE 1, I use this little trick where I give every single item first a black border. I have not done this in PoE 2 for now, intentionally. I might enable it again. So every single rule in PoE 1 at least has a black border. It doesn't quite work in PoE 2 because we have this weird gradient thing GEG did. So until I can control it, I will not add the border because it creates some weird overlaps. So every rule in PoE 1 has at least one style attached to that, right? In PoE 2, that means one style. In PoE 2, if something has one style, it's not enough. So we need to check our context. If global configuration current game type is PoE 2, yep, a lot less rules now. So there's still some rules complaining, but these are actually legit, because the normal 80, for instance, has no styling. So let's go through those. We can now fix those really efficiently, I hope. Normal 80. What I want to add is, I think, a style that kind of says this is intended to have no style. Kind of just like a command telling, hey, it's okay. No, I don't be worried about that. Let's go with something like, I don't think I want to use the blank keyword here. Style. Let's go with the vanilla keyword. And the vanilla keyword basically says this thing is not styled at all. So we're gonna add vanilla here and see if this still works. And we see the arrow is still there. Okay, it didn't seem to work. Did that save? Normal 80. Weird. Maybe what I do there is actually check for the number of rules matching. The question quickly becomes, does this cause any issues anywhere? Rule. I want to see how this is named. Can you figure out if the vanilla name... Can you figure out the vanilla name there? Why not set a font size? Because the issue there is that the decorators might be changing that. And if I give those items a specific font size, then the decorators will not be able to apply it. Decorators have lower priority. That's why I can't give them... That's also been my first thought, but... Okay, style rule. We have accents, apply, style section, exostyle piece token, universal accents. So what we need is I completely forgot how this works. If there's a block and the block has commands on it. Okay, so it has these commands, and the command has the huge command. Okay, apply text-based rule. We can give it a try. If block commands go intentional lacking style. Not quite, but the solution is somewhat there. So this needs to be done here. Sunf in a minute, you're right about that. Let me first fix that bug. So basically I need to figure out how... This is just a very ancient code for me. I haven't touched it in ages, so... block debug, what do we get there? Okay, that doesn't help. Block serialize. Oh, we got it. So now I can use this command pretty much everywhere, where I want to mark that this thing should be looking like that. There's no change intended there. So I can slap vanilla there. And the next one is normal decorated jewelry. Let's add that. Yep, that works. Right, so we're taking a tiny break. I'm gonna stretch a little bit. And then we're gonna fix all of these really quick, and then we'll start with the leveling part. See you soon. Alright, we are back. And I brought Mochi. He wants to go. Alright, let's fix all the styles. T1 ideal level. Minion scepter is optional. Let's give it the mark top level base thing. We might actually expand on this one a little bit. Then I bet these ones are also gonna complain. Large rares. Oops. Why tiny rares? Item level decorator 80. Oh, leveling. Okay, so it's just a leveling part. Universal jewelry. Okay, so the rest is all leveling, right? What part is jewelry universal? What even is universal then? Yeah, okay, so this is done. Cool. So only the leveling part left. Only, he said. It's like a huge block of complexity and trickiness. But we should still take it as a win. I mean, today is full of wins when it comes to the filter development. We have fixed the lags in-game. Not really filter related, but much nicer to test. We have found a solution for the waystones that have been going crazy over. We found so many critical bugs and done a lot of improvements. Yeah, just about that's fine. Okay, everything is saved and committed. But if I would, it's actually so stupid that it didn't commit this like a couple of days before. If I would lose all of this content, I would go crazy there. So the leveling starts around here, right? So anything down there is now grounds for us to improve and fix and modify. This is strictness based. They have the outdated flasks. Yep, there's documentation for that. I think writing to it is actually pretty easy. The tricky part becomes kind of when you start scaling it up, and when you start integrating like a lot of things like economy and so forth. This is where it quickly becomes a complex topic. But kind of minimal filter is very easy. It is not possible to detect tears right now.
Glorious.
Also, thanks so much for the sub, much appreciated. Thank you for the support. Can magic items roll here? Yes, rarely. It's much less impactful, right? Because they can all roll up to 2 mods, but they can't do that. Now, the problem with them is still need to hit the right mods. So that's salvaging is definitely something I could review later on. Maybe let's put it on the to-do list there. 1 second. There we go. Okay, most of our tasks are done. Review, salvage, triple, yeah, highlight. Alright, so we have this thing then, which is hiding all of the terrible flasks that we no longer use. This is fine. Leveling quality flasks, so yeah, I suppose it's also fine. Flash charm, this is also okay. This highlights the best flask right now available. Charm highlight is also working. Honestly, it might as well be that. Then we get to these highlights, which don't do much right now. So we're gonna replace them with vanilla until further. Well, no, we shouldn't replace them with vanilla. We should replace the tiny rares with a marked trinket, right? Cage, what exactly gave you anxiety? Rare Deco T1 Jewelry. Rare Jewelry. Yeah, we should probably split it to the right. Yep, and let's go with this style. Losing content on desk kept me on edge. So, I have a mixed opinion regarding the one portal system thing. I feel like it's too punishing, but I feel like it's also good. So personally, kind of my preferred solution to that problem would be, I would still like for maps to basically destroy the map if you lose all of the portals. So if you die. So you die, you lose the content. I'm still okay with that. I think this actually forces you to invest into defenses and stuff like that. But I'm not unconditionally okay with that. I think until like level 95, I would not remove the player experience, or would reduce the player experience loss like massively. On top of that, if I would split the boss and the map, and I think I would not remove the boss from the map either. So you will only lose the boss if you would kill the boss. Otherwise, I would never remove the boss. On top of that, I would be okay if you would still get like 4 or 5 attempts at the boss. If you die to a boss, you basically, well, yeah, this is basically what I would do. I would allow the player to have like 5 attempts at the boss, or maybe 3 attempts at the boss. I don't know, something, you know? I think having 1 attempt per boss is very, very silly, since the bosses are basically intended for us to learn the mechanics. What are you supposed to do? Go to campaign and learn the mechanics back then? This feels a little bit poor. With like ultimate bosses, I would also tell like you have 5 attempts at the breach lot, but every single time you die, he fully heals. So you need to kill him in one go, but you are allowed to have a failure there. Yeah, that is pretty much kind of my approach there. I think kind of the 1 death per map is probably good. Yeah, it's a tricky discussion, right? I think there's pros and cons on both ends. I think the lower tier bosses are a different problem in general. Lower tier bosses kind of need a different approach. For lower tier bosses, I would design, let's call them training encounters. So they don't require you to invest a lot. You get to them very easily. And if you fail them, you get the token back. Like the quest version in PoE 1, yes. I think currently the way it's designed in PoE 2 is a little bit silly. Maybe, maybe it actually takes the token, something like that. I don't know what it means. But there's at least 2 problems with the current system. One, it's incredibly brutal to learn because you have only 1 attempt, and if you die, you basically have to farm some of these. And I've been playing the game since start of December. I still haven't found some of these. Like, I still have not found a single King in the Mist, and I've run like 8 expeditions that didn't have a single boss. So my only tree that I actually have completely finished is the breach tree, and some are completely missing. So that's issue number 1. It's really hard to access bosses. Issue number 2 is, if you do get to access them, it is still not worth doing it unless you're doing it on high difficulty, because the good drops usually come from high tier bosses. Like, running a tier 1 arbiter is the waste of money. So all of the good drops on the arbiter are on higher tiers. And this kind of creates this very silly situation, I think, where you are kind of just not encouraged to try bosses unless you want to be a boss killer and dedicated specialization on that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I think it's also a bit ironic. We had this in PoE 1. All of these issues, we had this. At the start, we had this year where they've put the Uber bosses on the Atlas tree, and it sucked. No one was happy with that. And I'm like, okay, and we're back to that. Alright. Anyway, let's proceed. Okay, no more magic stuff, and then we get the different optional armors. Really not much to tell about those. This is just something to decide you either want to see or don't want to see. And I don't really know how to handle this yet. I think we just need to try it out a little bit and see how it goes. Also not sure if this command works. This might just not work. In this one context, let's try it out. Of course it doesn't. That's fine. This is not a great highlight, by the way. I need to fix this. This is just something I'm okay with right now. I'm not sure if this is working. Okay, I'm gonna leave this be for now. Thanks, Envy Main. I hope I'll be done on Saturday or something like that. Maybe Sunday, but maybe Monday, but Saturday is the goal. Saturday would be nice.
Glorious.
Thank you so much, Ghost Sci-Fi. Thank you so much for the sub. You know what? Let's build it up again. Let's just see what happens. So we're gonna open filter blade. The warning, there's the incomplete, but it's gonna be a little bit less bright, but upcoming background. So this is the background for PoE2. It's gonna be less bright though. So right now it's way too bright. Let's take a look at the advanced screen. Let's take a look at the filter structure. So we can browse the structure of the filter here. With all of these decorators. Most of these don't do much right now. This is fine so. So let's take a look at the leveling section, right? Menu currency, exception. This is fine. Salvageable. This is also alright. The salvageable section works just well. Probably need to increase the font size of these. Okay, then we get the flask stuff. The relevant flasks are pretty easy to spot. And charms are also pretty easy to spot. Then we get the large rares, medium rares, whatever, tiny rares. And the universal highlight for those. with this being the jewelry highlight. And the remaining rares receive a lower highlight, of course. Alright, yeah, the font sizes are a bit messed up here. These should be smaller, the other one should be larger, whatever. The font sizes are a mess right now. And these early boots there, this is also fair. You know what we need to do? We might just need to run that. Something I wanted to try is... So this is something I'm basically just trying out. I'm very new to that. I need to do a little bit more leveling experience. We're gonna start on self-found hardcore. I haven't actually played the ranger yet. So it's gonna be a learning experience.
Ranger, an outcast, lurking among the shadows.
Okay, let's go with one filter life.
You
So I have a level 5 or something self-found hardcore character, but I want to start here anyway. Yeah, I need some experience on how the items look during the first levels again. This is, by the way, not a good way to start to test your filter, but why not? It gives us the right input, and at the same time I'll try not to die. And I have a second character level 5 if this will fail.
It'll take a better snare than that to catch me.
by the first ones. You're alive. I'm glad the mill now. I would appreciate it if you could. Reach Clearfell. Find the miller.
This is like no sickness I've ever seen. Let's track down this miller. I shall overcome.
I mean, hardcore does give me a good way to properly see and evaluate items. No leveling gear. I think this needs a higher highlight at the beginning. Alright, it's slightly larger. That's nice. We don't need to do much more than that there. Is the button to temporarily disable everything? I don't think so. You can click out and see any hidden loot, but no, there's no button for that.
Another string. Into my bow.
Okay, how does lightning arrow work? Fires a charged arrow at the target, hitting an enemy or foe. The arrow will fire chain lightning beams to any of enemies. Converts. Cannot chain itself. Beam targeting radius is 2.4 meters. A fire beam. Okay. So this cannot chain. But the beams target 2.5 meters and fire beams and up to 2 targets. And it fires 2 beams and each deals 100% of my physics lightning. Okay.
Unnatural.
Yeah, I'm playing Ranger for the first time on hardcore, so this is how we test the filter. So I have some, you know what, I've really been lacking some proper PoE gameplay. During the last like 7 days, the only thing I went is like went on my overleveled character and like a C15 map and started watching how items look like. So it wasn't really farming, and I kind of felt like, you know what, I really want to play self-found hardcore, and since I'm now writing the leveling section, this allows me to actually look how items look like during the very first areas.
The journey has not been kind to you. Fury.
Oops. That dodge was great. Okay. We are off for a short hardcore run, I think. Yeah, I've heard good things about lightning rod. Okay. We have loot there. This is already wrong. Why is the straw handles need to be highlighted? Oh, because this... Where are the boots? Early boots. Okay, there we go. No, we can even go like a higher level. Let's rebuild that. Okay. This is good. Now the actual visuals we'll probably need to work on. That's fine for now.
Well done.
But the items are highlighted higher than by default, and we definitely saw everything important, no issues there.
This place reeks of desperation.
Well, I'm Smith for you. There's a bee. Now, if you could chant, you'll fight till next time.
Tools of the forge turned tools of war. These are dangerous.
Well, I fear this land's...
A songbird.
Oi, it's you! Hey, take a pun. You know you want to.
Actually not bad for like early level. I think the Villages and Scroll was kind of a waste. I have a little bit of money there, but you know, if we need to level something.
Lightning rods
Fires
stick
the
into the
rod from
ground
above,
after
creates
impact.
a lightning burst, the
Any
arrow hits the
chaining
ground,
lightning
any
skills
chaining
such
to
as
lightning
lightning
beams
arrow
can chain to
can
it.
hit
Okay.
these rods and cause them to explode
Okay, when
again.
chained to the arrows release another
Lightning rods stick into the
burst.
ground after impact.
Fair. Right, so that means that pretty much is our left and right click. I mean, the opiness of the lightning rod is a very well known tale.
No mercy. I need full mana.
You guys do not drop loot, right? my Diablo senses kind of expected the card to explode, but no. So Poison Burst is probably good as an additional damage source. Or we can try getting Escape Shot. I mean, we'll be testing out all kind of things there. Let's grab Poison Burst. The items could be just a little bit larger right now. We'll try to fight our way to the waypoint. It might be a little bit risky. But I think it's still easier than tackling the bosses right now, and less boring than...
The Growlwood feels darker somehow.
The werewolves are somewhat dangerous, so... Not these ones. They are these chasing werewolves. Ghost, thank you so much. Did you enjoy my work, mate?
My survival is no stroke of fortune.
Survival is no stroke of fortune. It literally is. You're using evasion gear. Alright.
Has the tree not endured?
What happened here?
Let's get it back. So our crab, check the vendor.
Take a look. Deal.
I'm gonna just grab this bow there.
If you find a pint out there, don't bring it back.
How many characters you made in PoE? Let's count the relevant ones. I don't know how many I have in total. So I have a level 92 monk and a level 92 monk and level 92 infernalist. Then I have a level 60 or something mercenary that I should proceed leveling, but I found a little bit more boring towards the end of the campaign. I was a little bit disappointed by the skills you received by the end. Alright, what else do I have? And I think that's basically it. I have a few other like minimal characters. So I think I have a level 5 hardcore wizard or something like that, which doesn't count, sorceress. And yeah, this is my level 3 hardcore cell-phone ranger, because I'm testing the leveling filter right now, and I thought, hell, why not combine it with like a natural test where I have to farm for my gold and actually survive and see how items look like. So I decided to start a hardcore character to test the new filter iteration. Any chance we're gonna get online filters as well? I would not count on that. So I don't think this will be the solution. I mean, this is the solution. I just don't think GEG is ready to do that yet for some reason. I think it would be easy. They probably would have enabled this already, and I think they are kind of not done with the APIs. I didn't want to fight the Devourer just yet, but you might risk it.
Fury! The tail!
Okay, easy. Skill gem. Okay, what am I doing? Let's drop these. How do these look like? So rare boots, good size. These are also in a good size. Good size. Slightly smaller, but have an. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. This would be a little bit larger, I think. Azure. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. I feel so bad for console gamers. Yeah, me too. I just can't do anything there. I actually asked GG several times. I just don't have anything to announce yet or something I can share, you know?
Finn makes fun of my collection, but I think it's charming.
Oh, very nice.
It's beautiful. I accept.
Alright, so what have we seen in the changes? We definitely could improve the sizes of... Yeah, the salvageable gear could use a higher font size. They did contact me with that. I did talk to them. We discussed potential solutions. I just can't, you know, I just don't have anything to share. They didn't want me to share any potential solutions because they don't know when anything can be done or would be ready. And I do respect that. So I do respect their integrity there, but I wish they would communicate publicly and tell when it's happening. But you know, this is not my boat. It's not my decision there. I'm just trying to be respectful towards their visions. Let's play a little bit more. At level 4 we'll fight the witch. I'm not quite understanding her mechanics yet, by the way, so we might die there. So how exactly does this work? Leap backwards and find an arrow which can chill or freeze enemies. Alright. Sounds easy enough. Doesn't sound very good outside of escaping, right? So this allows me to basically, when I'm surrounded by enemies, do this little thing. Okay. Alright, and we also got ourselves an additional gem. I'm not sure what you should start with there. I think at least one scatter shot is like an easy choice, right? Probably on the lightning rod. So I'm gonna fight the witch at level 4, I don't wanna fight at level 3 yet. The additional light and movement speed we get from the boots are very welcome. Yeah, the sizes are good. I think I need to preserve this sort of sizes on magic items for quite a long time. Do we have a date for the next PoE1 league? No, I think the next PoE1 league will likely start end of February, beginning of March. Was the further going, also watched Fated episode. I was interested in hearing your take on the fact that you need the loot filter and what you think GG should do about it. It's a complicated thing. So, generally speaking, also I'm testing this current level section of hardcore, so this takes a while. Testing the section of hardcore. We are done with pretty much with the full filter, except for the leveling section. And I do need some early leveling experiences and get an estimate on the font sizes. So that's why I'm currently leveling a level, like low level ranger. So my general thought on the existence of filters is a bit complicated. First of all, I think this is something GG cannot avoid. Just by default, I don't think they can avoid that. Not with the game they're having. If they want to have a booming economy, where like items have values, if they want to have like live service content where new leaks get released, and if they want to have fast-paced combat, you just cannot avoid the existence of filters. Even if the items will drop very sparsely, and very expensive ones, you will still want to optimize and have filters in order to tell you, hey, what's expensive, what's less expensive. And if you have like 12 freaking classes and every class is tuned towards one single kind of like weapon type and armor type, and you can customize or you can use multiple ones, you basically just need something to handle that. It's also not really easy to solve it via in-game UI, because while something like Last Epoch can do that, Last Epoch is also vastly less complicated and has less kind of content growth than PoE. Also, Last Epoch kind of goes for the identified item approach, which is once again different. It would work differently in PoE 2, but they decided against it. There's a whole bunch of reasons for and against an in-game UI, but that's a different topic. I don't think they can avoid the existence of filters. I think what they should do is work on making the leaks and rarity balanced. Like right now, the problem is breach and rarity AOP. I think they need to nerf those. I think they need to make other content better. And I think then things will become a little bit better again. I'm cold-hearted, thank you so much. Not so cold-hearted. I'm doing well. I'm testing, we are working with the leveling filter. We've done quite a lot of work already. So now I'm testing out the leveling section, looking how items look like on the early levels. And this might take us a bit of time. I'm kind of testing it by trying out Ranger for the first time on Hardcore. This is the only acceptable way to test filters. Okay, we see a problem here. The flask needs higher font size. The flask definitely needs a higher font size. It's a little bit hard to see. Other than that, maybe the transparency is also too low. Oh yeah, I forgot the boots. Silly me.
Lightning rods.
You just boost the attack damage a tiny bit, right?
Lightning arrow chains. Lightning rod. Lightning. Light.
I don't have shareable. Well, I don't have footage I'm willing to share yet right now. It might take a while until I'll be there. I hope to have it this year. So this is a small project, but I hope we'll get there. If you visit my streams over the next month, you'll definitely see me develop it live. I can tell you the level 10 scrolls become less important. Yes, this is also part of the filter. So the filter will highlight scrolls much more until level 10. Actually, let's test if this works, because I'm not sure if it's actually working. Okay, that's silly. Okay, that's better. The game will have quite a complicated item system, but don't think it'll have a loot filter, because I don't want the items to drop in that game. I'm not sure I like the highlight here on the scroll. I think the scroll previous highlight was actually fine. I think the main issue there is that the scroll had a too low font size. So at the very least, you know, we can increase the font size there quite easily, I think. Yeah, that works. Okay, then we've seen the leveling flasks. But what is your opinion on reducing the amount of loot and increasing the quality of loot? Generally speaking, mostly positive, but it kind of is this big it depends question. I think the general problem that the game will face, we are in early access. I repeat, early access. The game already has problems with the amount of loot. And I think there's also this sort of low threshold of loot. You know, if you just try decreasing the amount more and increase the quality, I think there's also the problem that some players may just not have fun. So I think basically, think about it. The game PoE is a game that wants to last years. They want to have this live service model with updates every couple of months, right? But I think the problem is not that. So I think there's kind of a bunch of problems. I think the problem right now is not specifically the presence of a loot filter. It's kind of like a secondary problem. The problem is right now that we're already at a point where we need a loot filter. I feel like this shouldn't be a point yet. I think at this point right now, the game should be mostly playable without a filter. I think it's totally normal for like a live service game that adds more loot and bigger crazy explosions and stuff over years to require one at some point. I think this is somewhat of an unavoidable consequence, and the less of multiple evils you can choose. I think dumping down the item system or trying to reduce the loot over time is not a good idea. But I do think they're dropping too much right now. But there's kind of like just main contenders, right? It's mostly Breach and Rarity. I don't have any specific highlight for ESG right now during the campaign. They show just like any base. I'm not doing much hiding in the campaign right now. Kind of the dedicated changes for specific gear type, this is something you should do on Filter Blade. Because I don't know what build you're playing. I honestly think the campaign doesn't have much loot issue. I think the campaign is totally fine even without the loot filter. I mean, we had the waypoint, right? Ugh, that's no waypoint. I've been talking about the augment, transmute, and regrow thing already to a talkative try before the start of early access, and I think my worries about that thing have been pretty much confirmed. It feels quite a bit annoying as an item system, because you basically can get stuck at either one of these spots, and you can get like a bottleneck by each of them, and it's also way too clicky. I don't really like having to click one and then the other, then the third, and then the fourth. I see no benefits in this system, honestly. I think they should definitely adjust that part. So I think it could be just one orb or some sort of crafting screen. I think, honestly, one thing that you can, I think, fairly well take from Last Epoch is the split crafting system. I think the one thing where Last Epoch definitely excels is the crafting system. I think GGG's current crafting system, I don't really like it. Now, I would be okay with them like selling, you know, like magic fuel or rare fuel. I don't know. Oh crap. Oh crap, I didn't want to fight him yet. Okay, focus. This might be my death. I actually don't know his mechanics very well. Whoa! Two of them.
Take this. Stay light, stay alive.
Okay, what were my conclusions about this gear? So, the general size on most items feels very satisfying to me, the blue items at the very least.
Got no pack space for that.
Crossing Rarity, good or bad? The way it is implemented right now, very, very bad. There's a lot of things about Rarity that is problematic right now. First of all, Rarity right now acts as quantity. Rarity right now increases the chance that the gear drops not as gold, but as something else, which is technically pretty much quantity, since gold isn't a very desirable outcome. On top of that, by making Rarity create the tier levels on rares, it makes it way too good to many things. It upgrades currency, which is way too good. It is a very low investment mechanic. It's fairly easy to roll, it's very easy to acquire, making you feel very stupid if you don't have it. It feels pretty much mandatory, in my opinion. So my characters have all 100 and usually 150 rarity, and it's kind of like, if I don't do that, it feels bad. I think they should increase the base rarity of loot by quite a bit, and I think rarity should only be provided by certain uniques, mostly. Or the numbers on normal gear should be way lower. For instance, and most of the uniques that provided should come with strong downsides. Or maybe you cut rarity altogether. I honestly don't like it. I think it's not a good mechanic.
What would you like?
I think any type of problem that it tries to solve can be solved in a better by a different approach.
Might make good scrap. Go well.
Rarity for solo self-on players. No, just make everything. No rarity for solo self-on players. I don't think solo self-on players deserve any sort of special treatment. I saw Crip's take on that. I didn't like the idea of rarity for solo self-on. I feel like the problem can be solved in a more elegant way. And I usually like his takes, but not this one. In general, I think rarity should just not. I feel like rarity shouldn't just exist in a game like PoE, or they need to just reduce the rarity chances to drop tiered gear and currency stuff. So I think rarity in general should increase the chances of dropping rare gear, and this by itself increases the chance of tiered gear, and rarity should affect uniques. But yeah, I like the craft, but not the exalt system. What is the name of the YouTube where you talked about crafting? It's by Talkative Try. Another problem is how easy it is to stack rarity. It is so easy to get like 150 rarity that if you don't have it, you're just losing out. So if you're playing a character that can't really stack rarity because they have a lot of affix pressure, like let's say a character that needs more defenses, you are losing out even more. So it's kind of like a situation where the strong get stronger, the weak get weaker. And this is just not good. But yeah, I honestly don't really see any reason why rarity shouldn't exist. I feel like if they want us to give... So if you want to have rarity in a game, I would instead go via difficulty. Do you want more rarity? Then fight harder content. So I do think the game could drop more loot in general. Like there could be more rare drops, in general in the end game. Everywhere except Reach. I would be totally fine with like increasing the base rarity on everything. But then again, I would just remove rarity as a stat pretty much altogether. But then for fighting harder content, you get more rarity. Just do it. Quite simply, put it onto encounters. Stop putting it on gear. Yeah, pretty much. Rarity is going to go resist. If you're not doing it at your disadvantage, that is basically it. This is basically the spot. So we're kind of, and this once again, this is a PoE 1 problem. We had this in Affliction. If you farmed, it's also stupid because in Affliction, because there were some content types, if you farmed it without rarity, It just wasn't worth it because the whole prices were basically designed around players saving rarity. They just were not worthwhile carrying it. Exactly. No, yeah, you know, I do like the idea of attaching rarity to content. You know, I'm perfectly fine with like scaling the global difficulty of the whole thing. Not having rarity feels similar to not having movement speed in boots. Okay, you know, there's a difference, however. This is a huge difference. This movement speed on boots, while I agree it feels mandatory, especially in PoE 2, it's basically kinda a bit of an item problem. So you can make some intelligent trade-offs there. You can tell, okay, so I'm gonna go for a movement speed pair of boots, and then I'm not gonna have like life or resistance there. Or it's kind of like resistance. The goal of movement speed, the goal of resistances is forcing you to balance your gear. Think about it. What's the point of resistances? Why can't we just, you know, why can't we just remove all resistances and remove, you know, 2 suffixes from every item? It would kind of work, right? But the point of resistance is a counterbalance. If you want to use more powerful mods, if you want to use powerful uniques, you kind of need to counterbalance them because they usually take the spot of resistance. And it's kind of like a very similar situation with movement speed. I like it less on movement speed because I feel like movement speed kind of is a problem with unique boots. In general, I feel like movement speed from boots could be kind of removed and maybe instead give every single boot pair its own movement skill. This could be something like that. You know, that boots kind of boost your dodge roll or give you a movement skill, something like that. Yeah, I'm saying that mostly because PoE has a movement problem right now. PoE 2 requires you to move at least as much as PoE 1, but at the same time, accessibility to movement speed is incredibly low. Sure, it is RNG, but that doesn't mean it's not working. That's like saying you played the lottery 100 times and didn't win. But still, playing it more makes you more likely to win. Alright, so what did we discover? I did adjust the size of the flask, right? Oh yeah, it's much better visible now, right? That's large and glowing, not too large, so it's not annoying. I don't like Rarity and gear, but can't it just be considered as a stat to balance? No, I don't think so, because the problem there is that Rarity makes balancing tricky. Rarity kind of feels a bit... So, okay, so let me put it this way.
Glorious.
Rarity... I don't think Rarity should be a replacement for power. We had this in PoE 1 already. I don't think having more Rarity should be seen, you can say that, okay, one person is farming T16 content with like 0 Rarity, and one person is farming T8 content with 100 Rarity, and both make the same profit. I don't like this trade. I feel like there's no benefit to that. I feel like rewards should be a part of the crucial system when it comes to difficulty. You farm harder content, you get more Rarity. They can attach Rarity like as a default modifier to every tier. You go 1 tier high, you get 5% Rarity. I would be totally on board with that. Something like that. Showcact, Isaac, thank you so much for the subs, much appreciated. I don't want Rarity on any gear. I would be like, maybe over time it would be better, but PoE 2 right now lacks non-Rarity based mechanics, and I feel like there's no benefits to Rarity. I don't think there's like any benefit you can make for it outside of saying, well, this is fun. And I do agree that it's fun, but then I would rather have harder content that gives you more reward in sort of basically creating this sort of a weird balance game. How do you handle uniques which no one has found? I have failsafes for that in my filter. You can look into my PoE1 filter, I have failsafes for that. It's now the axis character progression. I don't like this axis. I feel like if your character is progressing, you might as well run harder content and then get better rewards. I feel like this is the most straightforward, most logical way of progressing. It avoids all of the problems there. You don't need to like balance around how much rarity is 5 waystone maps. Just, I don't know, I would just slap more difficult on the map, get more rarity. I think this is the best approach there, honestly. Or fight harder bosses, get more rarity. Put more mods on the map, get more rarity. Fight strong encounters, get more rarity. Now, I would be more okay with that if we had like a huge amount of non-rarity scaling content, like a big amount of bosses that you can farm and they don't scale with rarity, but PoE is not there yet. Right now, at least as of right now, I think rarity is not a great mechanic. Blood, that's not a logical argument. Balancing in a multiplayer game is quite often a good argument, because it makes people feel bad if they play specific things because they can. No, I don't think it's logical. I mean, there's definitely reasons why you like Rarity. I'm not denying it, guys. There's fun in Rarity in multiple ways. Rarity is fun because you get to... wait, is the weapon there? Rarity is fun because you get to find more items. It feels rewarding. It feels pretty good. I do agree to that. I think this is definitely an argument that is worthwhile.
The roots have grown.
But I would rather just slap it onto the base content. Honestly, I would just, kind of the first thing I would do is I would put 5% rarity per waystone seer. Then I would potentially just increase the base rarity on bosses. I think rarity right now causes a very unhealthy mechanic, and you can basically see that 50% of players are playing Archmage characters, 25% of characters playing Deadeyes. There's a good reason for that. Because players are basically not willing to play anything inefficient. It's kind of like Affliction League. We had this in Affliction. In Affliction, we had this with quantity. Playing any character that didn't have enough quantity felt inefficient, and you were basically just... You couldn't even run higher content because the content was balanced around the reward. There is a difference to boots. There is a difference to boots. I like movement speed on boots more because it is part of the kind of itemization process of the boots themselves. It's kind of like, you know, on the weapon type, you basically care about the damage most. So it gives you incentive to craft and use specific items. Rarity is kind of like this sort of system that if you're not maxing it out, it's one of the systems that is too efficient. Basically not trying to max it on every part of gear feels very silly because it just incredibly improves the outcome of pretty much everything. It's kind of this kind of situation that forces players to run a worse build and stacking rarity instead of trying to make their characters more strong. movement speed is also a practical stat. It's the stat of how fast does your character move. It makes a lot of sense. I think it kinda is by default just a much better stat than Rarity. It is also very much specific to one slot.
Persist and overcome. Fury!
And when you both. What if Rarity was locked to only more rings and amulets? That would be a solution. That would actually be a solution, but I'm not sure if this is a fun solution. I would be more okay if there would be kind of like a choice thing. You know, you could go like for, let's say, Rarity or something else. Generally speaking, in most cases where something ends up being a stat that is just basically demanded in all cases, especially if it just creeps into every single item slot, I think it's just not a great system, especially if it makes you want to replace a real power stats with that. This is, in the end, the problem is that players should be incentivized to do easier content. It's a numbers issue. That's what should be fixes. No, you're saying not removing an X of progression. Rarity is not an X of progression. And yes, it is a number issue. The problem is that higher content by itself isn't incentive enough, or harder content by itself isn't incentive enough to do it. Instead of giving Rarity, left more Rarity on delirium maps. And then you have kind of the solution for that. And it's all very balanced. And then you have your super tanky warrior who can do tanky, complicated maps slower. And being slower suddenly is a good thing. Not a good thing, but it kind of is a worthwhile style of play. Right now it's just, hey, if you're not as fast as possible and you don't have as much Rarity as possible, you are playing an arguably worse build. And I'm not sure this is kind of the gameplay style that should be PoE2, especially since PoE2 has really great looking bot fights, cool builds, cool abilities and so forth, and we are basically turning into the clusterfuck that is PoE1. I don't think this is great. Honestly, I think returning something like Scarabs from PoE1 would be a very good solution. Maybe not in the form they're currently being used, but yeah. And they need more quality of life. Now, I'm not saying removing Rarity is the only way of fixing it. Maybe just, you know, halving its numbers or its efficiency, or removing the scaling on the currency found would be a solution. I think there's definitely multiple things you can do. Not saying removing is the only solution. And I think they might actually not want to remove Rarity because the main argument for Rarity is a very, very simple one. It's fun. People enjoy it. People like running Rarity. I don't blame them. Rarity is fun. It's fun to find a lot of cool items. And this is kind of the priority issue there, right? Why remove a system that players actively enjoy?
It's beautiful. I accept. Goodbye.
You can get Rarity mod based on yes, but it doesn't compensate enough. It doesn't compensate enough. Right now, you can get Rarity on a wasteland, sure, but it's just not enough to compensate, let's say, Rarity stuff. I agree. Gear should have more stats. but Rarity shouldn't be one of them. You know, you sound like one of those oil company guys. When you know, like, companies that create huge problems to the environment, people like publish papers that, oh, well, the oil company industry is doing completely unethical standards and does a lot of damage to the environment. What those guys do, they publish like papers and tell you that, oh, well, the environment and the bees are not dying just because of the oil companies or the chemical companies. There's also this other 3, 4, 5 things where this is happening. But the problem isn't that. The problem is Rarity as a stat is way too good. It feels demanded, it creeps everywhere. If you're not stacking Rarity, your build feels shitty right now. This is the issue. And it's not really a fun thing to stack because it takes out of your character power. Yes, sure, we need more interesting stats. I totally agree. I think gear should be more interesting, yes. Totally agree. But I think this doesn't change anything about the fact that the situation isn't great.
Out of mana.
It's not the kind of person who sees the healthcare system as bad and needs... No, this is a bad comparison. But once again, what kind of comparison is that? You can't just... The healthcare system is a good thing. And even if there's flawed things going on there, you don't want to remove that, right? You're just comparing... It's exactly the same thing. No, it's not. Of course not. Rarity is not a good system. You're making it sound like it's a good system. No, it's not. It's not a good system. It's not a good reward system for an RPG. No, you don't want to fix problems with that. That whole system is a problem. Sure, I'm suggesting alternatives. I've said it before. You can remove currency scaling. You can remove tier scaling. You can make it less efficient. But I think it would be much better to address the problem by its heart. I think just removing it and putting the... Well, I don't think they'll remove it, honestly. I think it's too much effort right now to do it at this point. But I think the first step would be cutting numbers and removing currency scaling. I think this would be probably a good idea. And then adding more reward sources on things like bosses so that there's alternative strategies. You know, if something like a ritual would be more rewarding outside of the omen that you get like every 7 hours and like one fragment that you get every 70, maybe it would be better. If you would cap it at 50%, everyone would have to run 50%. The problem touches with movement speed is that when they're pulling it down, such as movement inventory. Once again, no, those are different systems. Once again, you're redirecting. You're not addressing the part of the problem. The problem isn't that the other systems. Rarity is the issue. Mandatory stats do not have to be bad. Things are balanced around something. Take a look at resistances. Are resistances bad? No, they're not. They force you to... They don't allow you to run endless unique or just endless offensive stat. They basically tell you need to balance things. But balancing something around the reward mechanic isn't a great idea. It's just a false analogy. You're trying to kind of squeeze the thing in there and tell it like it's something else. It's not. It's just you're scaling a reward system instead of scaling your character in an RPG. And I think this is what difficulty is for. You want more stuff, fight harder content. I think it's as simple as that. It makes it much more direct. It doesn't make you do silly decisions like make your character weaker in order to get more loot instead of fighting harder content. Anyway, Blood, I've kind of learned a lot of things about discussing it with you, and one of them is it usually doesn't make much. I don't think we agree too much, and I
Seems someone refuses to let
don't think there's any point in discussing that any further. You can take it up with Shet. I'm done with that. Alright, let's take a look at the I agree. We have very different views there. GG agrees with me that we know for certain. Let's talk about that after the upcoming changes. What is the font? Let me pause that before I lose my character. Even if it's just for testing. I think it is S3, alright, you're right. So, to be honest, I don't expect them to completely remove Rarity. I would probably expect them to like halve the numbers, make it more rare as a stat, and not apply to currency or something like that. This is kind of the GG solution I expect them to do. Alright, set font size 38. Seems to be working on those. What about those two? I really need to see if I can streamline the priority on the leveling styles. What? Have colors on items based on rarity? What do you mean? I think I know what you mean. Like color different orbs in a different way? Yeah. This is where loot voters come in. Yeah, light rate is actually surprisingly good. With the minimap review and stuff. This is problematic. I think the easiest solution would be to build up leveling specific styles here. No, sorry, you're very much welcome. Thank you so much. We are going for the full release on this Saturday or something like that. I hope it's going to be Saturday. We'll need to just confirm that. Okay, good. The font size is now fixed. It's been a little bit too low for quite a decent drop there. No, just never sound. No sinking. Unless I'm diving, then sinking is okay. We don't track the specific people, so something we don't do is ID specific tracking, but we do event specific tracking. So for instance, I do know how many filters were downloaded when. We also know information like what kind of strictnesses were downloaded. We don't know specifics about what the user changes, at least this is something I'm not recording. Wait, is the font size in those bugs? The font. Might be. Is it the same size? I can't quite tell. Transmutation and wisdom scroll. I think they might need a little bit higher font size. We'll take a look. Forced, yes, forced. Currency leveling. We can for sure go with something like that then. If you're doing new build, no, it's just something I do for testing leveling. And this is, by the way, self-found hardcore, so over the next days when I'll be mostly playing hardcore self-found, even on stream. I think it's something, in a way, I think it's just something I really want to do. Will the initial filter blade version include mod C filtering? No, not at all. This is just something I will do over time, but right now it's not a priority at all.
Fury.
Has GG provide you more details regarding filters and consoles? No, I have complete radio silence on that. I've been talking to them here and there, but I think over the Christmas break, yeah, no information. I've been discussing some things with them, but I can't really review their plans. Yeah, it's up to them to tell when and what and how. Alright, so I'm not exactly sure on the mechanics of the boss here once again, so... yeah, let's hope I don't die. That would be nice, right?
Charged arrow.
Now he has a bunch of slightly tricky attacks in the middle of his face around now. Whoa! Yep, whatever that was. Okay, so the only really dangerous attack is the line attack, I see. Okay, let's finish him. We have mana again. Yeah, this is self-found platform.
Your war is long over.
Once again, I looted too fast. Alright, the drops do look appropriately sized for early levels. We also have the proper highlight. Wait, is he always dropping socketed items? It's kind of like a cool player if he does. Why are these hidden? Why are these hidden? Okay, so what are the hidden items? It's a pair of gloves and a focus. Okay, that's very weird. What hides them? I didn't mean to hide anything at this level. Is it something strictness related? No, so I missed something. So something leaked through the... Something leaks through the item level requirements. What kind of level are they? 7. Yeah, I've been basically testing things only in map so far. This is the first time I'm testing the new filter in leveling. That's exactly where I'm leveling a new character. That means this is disabled, right? This is shown. Act 1 clear. Macro magic here. This is here already. We have these classes and armor rules there. Rarity magic. So these things should be highlighted by these rules. They are not. So something else must be tracking them. Okay, so I just want to do kind of this sort of thing. We're gonna add a new rule here. And just call it show right. So we're gonna run the generator. So okay, so it happens afterwards. Oh, these are disabled, right? I suppose we can replace them with S4 for now. Okay, that feels good. Sigma the first. Thank you so much for your support. Much appreciated, mate. Who created one Twitch already? Are they working for Fury 2? I honestly don't know, but those are both good questions.
Here, my Buddha. Take a look.
Alright, so maybe we should get this bow, which is just significantly better than what we've been using. Is there a point to identifying them?
I'll find some use for that.
Okay, so we got our first level 2 arrow. Storm fires an arrow that lands for a short duration. At the end of the duration, lightning strike. It also
A short
disintegrates.
time after a Stormcaller arrow hits a target, a bolt of lightning strikes the enemy with a high chance to shock.
That's pretty neat.
Vine arrow slows nearby enemies with poisonous vines. Using other poison skills on the vine will transfer the poison damage to all enemies held by it. Vine. Hold down the button for Snipe to charge up a powerful arrow. If you release at exactly the right moment, the arrow will deal a guaranteed critical hit. Hold. A short time after a Stormcaller arrow hits a target, hold down the button. Hold.
I have a level 92 Invoker and I think 92 Infernalist. And I also have a Mercenary nearly in the end game. The other classes not so much. I've done like a little bit of testing here and there, but nothing noteworthy, right? Void Totem is fun. I'll definitely be checking out all classes, so my goal is to pretty much play every single class. That helps immensely when it comes to designing filters. Oh yeah, I need to talk to Una, right? Wait. What? Need to do that first.
What happened here? He's unconscious, but he's breathing.
I'm really looking forward to the next classes. I really would like to try out Druid. It's probably the one I'm most excited for right now. Yeah, let's see how long this takes. I need to learn kind of this one spot, and there's also this one spot in Act 2 where I need to learn who to talk to on one. Alright, now we can talk to Renly. We need to take the Quantum Forge. I kind of been hearing that though wielding the Titan grip weapons is not worth it. I'm not doing much filtering during the campaign. So during the campaign you just see all rare, all magic items. You can adjust that on the filter blade side, but the campaign side there's really just very little I do right now. Not sure it's worth it, honestly. I think it's kinda a mistake to run chain. Or was a mistake to run chain? Am I not hitting? Oh yeah, so this is the whole explosion? Ooh, I kinda expected more of a boom there. Okay. Bit disappointing. Could have taken martial tempo instead of the chain. Maybe with barrage or something like that. I very much am eyeing barrage as a skill, but maybe that's just me coping.
Charged arrow.
Oh no. Well, let's try not to die. But let's see use his bow to attack. Oh. Oh, an amulet. Sweet, even a strength one. Oh, the blade, okay. Corrosion could be cool early on. Definitely nothing wrong with magnified effect there. Yes. Probably also good. Let's go with magnified effect there. Yeah, Plasma Blast is... This is kind of one of my issues with Mercenary. It actually was very disappointing to get Plasma Blast. I wish they would have some kind of like synergetic mechanic on this thing, but the whole idea that you kind of have a skill that you need to channel for so long, it's kind of poor. I really wish there would be like some sort of way to, you know, charge up certain, you know, certain points, and then you can unleash Plasma Blast much quicker, kind of as a reward mechanic. I feel like Warrior kind of needs a lot more of this as well. Or you could at least, you know, channel while moving it efficiently. Something like that. But Plasma Blast needs something. I'm not sure what it is. But it's kind of disappointing as a system, I find. In general, the high-level skills on the Mercenary were all kind of disappointing. The one that shot, kind of like stacked up projectiles and shot from the sky was good. But, you know, comparing it to just, let's say, Monk, that has a lot of very powerful auxiliary systems, yeah, it's kind of disappointing. Because the Monk kind of stacks the bell, he stacks his charge stuff, he can even put other enchantments on his weapons, and this kind of feels like you're assaulting an enemy with multiple skills at the same time. This never feels like that with the Mercenary. The Mercenary occasionally can burst in something, but it doesn't really feel like you're using multiple skills efficiently. And there's a lot of things to talk that actually are feeling very good with the Mercenary. Like, the actual attacks and the skills feel pretty good, but unfortunately, it doesn't feel very synergetic. Something with a lot of damage there. Okay, so I actually wanted to drop the stuff I found on the floor again just to see if I'm okay with its highlight. Yeah, I am actually very much okay. I think I might increase the size of all the trinkets a little bit. This felt like something we could definitely improve upon. Let's quickly do that. The clip.
Alright, hold on. Here's the boss, here's the boss.
Oh, it's a cat.
Alright. Guys, ready? 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 Flip this. You guys baited!
What happened? Did he out of 4? Did it crash?
Hold on.
What is he even playing? What kind of build is that? It's poison arrow, right? Something like that.
Alright. Guys, ready? 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 Flip this. You guys baited!
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. Did the vine arrows not explode? What exactly happened? I'm kind of a little bit confused by the clip. Sorry, maybe I'm lacking of context.
Alright, hold on.
So he's stacking vine arrows, and he wants to then drop the hammer, right? Or what is he doing? And then he just did he out of 4? Did he crash? What happened? I'm very confused by the clip.
You guys baited!
Oh, the game crashed. I see. Okay, let's try.
Nowhere to run.
And it's a question as the auto maze attack. Okay, fair.
Quickly! My family has been abducted! I sent for reinforcements.
Mechanical balance. Alright, guys. I think this is it. So it's half 1 a.m. We did a lot of good progress today. We basically finished the most of the filter except for the leveling section. We basically finished most of the filter except for the leveling section. We have fine-tuned the leveling section quite a bit. We found a lot of bugs. We've done some code improvements. It's been a good stream. Now I'm more and more getting confident that we'll manage to release it on Saturday. Tomorrow we'll be doing a lot of fine-tuning when it comes to the leveling part, and also working on filter blade actively. And on Saturday we'll be pretty much whole day working on filter blade and the filter, and probably releasing it towards the evening. Yeah, if you guys want to know when I'm online next, check out my Twitter. Or, oh, I'm not even sure if I posted on Twitter. It's kind of awkward now. Well, you can still check it out. I do post some spicy takes on PoE there. Other than that, I do wish you guys a wonderful evening. I might post some teaser content on the Patreon later on, you'll see. Yeah, alright. Hope to see you next time. Bye.
Are you numb in the head?